what is it about what the French call la souplesse, the ability to spin a bike well?
Right.
That, how do you learn, whether you're watching a golf player, a basketball player, you can just look at some guy and go, that guy does it right and this guy does it wrong.
Right.
What do you tell people? What are some basics for riding with that la souplesse, the ability
No,
to
it's
be
funny.
really
You know,
spin on
the
bike?
more time you spend in the sport, I can see from a half mile away a good cyclist.
Right.
And you know, I'm a coach now, and you know, the one thing I have, one of the most important things I work with every rider on is, you know, being able to pedal efficiently. You know, not just slogging in a big gear. And a lot of people think just because you're in a big gear, it's going to make you stronger, just mashing the big gears. And you know, it's really important to become an efficient pedaler, pedaling all the way, all 360 degrees, not just on the downstroke and upstroke. But think about more like pedaling backwards and forwards.
Gearing is, people are so confused about gearing.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering, everybody here, you guys trying to figure it out? All of it still?
Yeah. But you know, it's not going to come overnight, and a lot of it's just practice and repetition. And going out, and some days maybe pedaling in an inefficient gear, you know, maybe too high, maybe spinning too much. It doesn't feel right, but then when you're in a gear, maybe one gear down, it's going to feel kind of normal. And you know, I do a lot of work with my clients.
Yeah, Richard, they have an app for that.
I know, yeah.
For gearing. You actually get an app on your iPhone and check it out. It's a lot
Well,
of fun. It's very geeky, but you'll enjoy it.
Yeah, a lot of people are confused by their automobiles. Their automobiles that you go from first gear to second gear to third gear to fourth gear. And that, it's not always the same in a bike. That you can be, it's not in a linear fashion. Sometimes you're better off in a little chainring.
Yeah.
Sometimes you end up with the gears all crossed up. This is why people drop their chains.
You know, I think ask as many, if you're new in the sport, ask as many questions as possible. That's the quickest way you're going to learn.
Riding with people scares the bejesus out of a lot of people. Anybody here frightened of, well, obviously nobody wants to fall off their bike. But there's great advantages to riding in the group. And I'm sure you've seen guys, one of the things when I raced in Europe, I was always like being told, pull over here, pull over here. The better riders were always pulling you into the field.
Right.
And you feel safer out in the field, like so much you don't even get an elbow in the wind. But that's daunting. What do you teach people about how to ride in a field?
Yeah, you know what's great is like just going out in a park, grassy, you know, out on a soccer field or something with one of your friends or husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, and just practice riding close to each other. Maybe
Right.
bumping elbows or maybe bumping your hands next to each other. And you know, worst case, you tip over and fall on the grass.
Right.
You're going 5 miles an hour, so it's most likely it'll be okay. That's a great way to learn.
Yeah.
And you know, maybe practicing out on these fields, practicing maybe leaning over and trying to grab your shoe. And once you're comfortable with that, maybe putting a water bottle down and actually trying to pick up the water bottle off the field. You know, it sounds hard, but you should see how quickly
You get it.
I've my clients do it. And at first, they can barely even take their hand off the bar, and then you know, seriously, within 10 minutes, they're picking up a water bottle.
And some of the orientation comes from automobiles. People think that this is how you steer a bike, this is how you steer a car.
Right.
But it's not. You
Right.
steer a bike differently, and a lot of people don't get that.
Right.
And the ability to move around on
Yeah.
the bike in
Yeah.
the field is
And a lot of it, you know, when you're riding in a field and you're nervous, but it's important to stay relaxed. When you're rigid like this, you know, every bump in the road,
Right.
you're gonna move 2 or 3 feet. Staying relaxed.
And in that field, when you do your first 100-mile ride, 40 miles goes under your wheels before you even know it, because
Yeah.
you're just being whisked along. Drafting.
Drafting.
Scares people, but it can make the difference between having a great day on Best Buddies Day or whatever ride you're doing, or it could mean the second you come off that draft, out of that field, they disappear, and you realize how much slower you're
Yeah.
going. How do you teach somebody how to draft without freaking them out?
Well, again, it's just about finding a buddy, a riding partner, and go out and feel it for yourself. You know, try. Again, somebody who you're comfortable riding behind, you can trust, and you know, try riding, you know, close to their back wheel, and you see what it feels like, and then go out into the wind and see what that feels like. You know, you can save up to 30 or up to 40% by sitting behind somebody, and really, the bigger the group, you know, the more of a draft it is.
Yeah, it's pretty
And
incredible.
you get
I
really
always
sucked along.
put my
I mean, to
hand
be
on the
honest with
car.
you, like some of the flat Tour de France stages, like sure it's 100 miles, 120 miles, but you know, big group, 200 guys, and you can really get sucked along.
And when you do Best Buddies, you're rolling out of JFK with about
Yeah.
700, 800 riders.
Yeah.
And if you can stay in that field,
Yeah.
that is home. That is
Yeah.
the home base.
Yeah.
It'll take you so much farther. It's hard to imagine how good
Yeah.
it is. I think one of the tricks is, if you're spinning like this and everybody else is spinning like this, guess what? Be like them. Be in their same gear. A lot of people love the gearing things,
Right.
but try to ride where everybody else
Right.
is.
And ride within your comfort zone. Don't get too close if you're not comfortable there. But certainly, when you have an option to ride out in the wind or ride behind somebody, try to ride behind somebody. Makes a big difference.
All right, let's go to the pain cave. Let's talk about. A lot of these people said they have knee pain. How do I deal with that? And obviously, we talked about fit. That maybe you got something wrong.
Yeah.
But pain? How do you deal with pain? You were famous for riding through pain.
Tylenol. No, if you're having knee problems or something, really important after your ride to ice it, several times for up to 10 minutes at a time. It could be your bike fit if you're having if it's consistent. It could just be a few small changes and, be good to go.